All right, good morning. My name is Beau James. I've met with many of you before at our events in Southeast Asia for Education USA. We're here today to give you some information here about the college, particularly on the process after students have been admitted, as well as we'll talk to some representatives from the college to give you a little bit more idea about life here for our international students. Even speaking specifically to the lives of some of our Southeast Asian students that we've had here in the past and at present. So I want to take you through a few slides that you should be able to see in your screen there. Looking at the video options there, you'll see kind of our welcome video. So you can see first slide is really talking about where is NWTC. That's a question that we get, of course, because we are in the city of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Green Bay is the third largest city in the state of Wisconsin, and Wisconsin's in the upper Midwest, about 3 hours north of Chicago. It's a suburban community, so there's about 100,000 people in the city itself. But it's not so big that we have a lot of skyscrapers or anything like that. It's more communities and homes, very safe place to be. The nearest metropolitan areas, the really large cities, are going to be Chicago, which I said is about 3 hours south. The city of Milwaukee is about 2 hours south. And the city of Minneapolis and St. Paul is about 5 hours to the west. The capital city of Wisconsin is Madison, and that's located about 2 hours to the southwest. So you can see we have quite a few major metropolitan areas within a short day trip away from us. The one thing that students are often curious about, of course, is the cost of attendance. So again, for this year, the 2015-16 academic year, the cost is about $206 per credit. That translates into about $2,500 for full-time students per semester, or about $5,000 per the academic year. Students are often asking how much will the tuition go up year to year. That's usually less than 2%. So we expect that for the 2016-27 academic year, student tuition might be about $210. So that would, on average, add between $40 to $50 per year to the student's total cost. And then you see there's about $2,000 for books, fees, and insurance. And then our cost of living estimate for a full 12 months is about $10,000. We've recently increased that amount to accommodate for some changes in housing options. Now, not all students will pay that amount. Some will actually pay considerably less, depending on particularly which housing options they elect. Student scholarships are available for all NWTC students, and they are generally awarded between $500 and $1,500 per semester. Our application cycle is occurring in March and October. This particular March cycle will be for the fall semester, and then the upcoming spring semester will be the cycle that will be in October. Students often are very curious about the criterion for that, so that includes students' GPA, letters of recommendation, personal statements, and extracurricular activity. And those awards, unfortunately, are not able to be guaranteed until after a student's been admitted, because that's when a student is able to apply for the scholarships. And of course, we do not have any full tuition scholarships, so some students are often curious about that. Our upcoming semesters, the next nearest one will be at the beginning of June 2016. That's our summer session, but our first full semester won't begin until the 1st of September. So that's our normal 15-week semester. Then after fall semester, there is a very short winter session that's about 3 weeks. Students will normally take 1 or 2 classes during that time if they choose. Then comes the spring semester, which will run from late January until early May. And then, of course, our summer sessions are, again, optional sessions in which students can take any number of classes, and those are generally between the months of June and August. So we don't have an admissions deadline per se. We just always recommend that students give themselves enough time to get their visa taken care of. We also now have an intensive English program for international students that will run 15 weeks during the fall and spring semester. This is a very good value because most intensive English language programs will actually only run for 7 or 8 weeks. So really this is doubling the amount of time that students will get coursework for. But for those students who are looking for shorter term sessions, they can certainly look at our summer sessions, which do run about 6 weeks. An early session runs late May to early July, and then a second session runs from mid-July to mid-August. Those are going to run about 20 hours per week, and then they also may include some extra curricular activities and outings to help give students the chance to experience some of the culture here in the U.S. The tuition rates are similar to our full-time academic load, about $2,500 per session. And then the books and fees, of course, are going to be a little bit less, only about $500. And then the estimated cost of living is, again, about $900 per month. Now, our admission requirements are pretty straightforward. There's, of course, the application form, which can be downloaded on our website, or you can contact NWTC or myself by email, and we'll make sure to get those sent to you. There's an application fee as well, about $130. With those fees, we also are able to make sure that we send I-20s and acceptance letters by courier, so they get to you as fast as possible. Then we also have English language requirements, which on the TOEFL will be a 55 on the internet-based test, a 157 on the computer-based test, and a 480 on the traditional paper-based test. For those of you taking an IELTS, it would be a 5, and then we can use other proof of English language proficiency, basically by approval. This might include things like students who have done A-levels and their A-levels were taught in English. This can be used as proof of English language proficiency in a secondary manner. Then we also require, of course, passports and proof of high school completion. Then the one final piece on there is the one that you have for all schools, and that's your proof of financial support. So again, for our college, it's going to be about $17,000 for total cost of living plus books, fees, and tuition. So that's the amount that students would need to show in financial support, either in their own accounts or through a sponsor such as parents. Applying for visas are pretty straightforward. Once you have submitted your application, it only takes about a week for NWTC to process the application and send your I-20. Again, we mentioned we send by courier, so that usually only takes an additional week. So students do tend to get their I-20s within about 2 weeks, which they can then use to apply for their visa. And you can see here on the PowerPoint that they can go to the www.ustraveldocs.com, in which they can fill out the DS-160 form to do that, and they can pay their $160 MRV fee, and then they can make their interview appointments, and also that students can apply for their visa up to 120 days before the start date that's listed on the I-20. In addition, there is the SEVIS fee and the SEVIS system, which stands for the Student Exchange Visitor Information System. Students will basically have all of their student records and transactions measured there. They will fill out the I-901 SEVIS form, which is available at www.fmjfee.com. They'll pay a SEVIS fee, which is about $200. And then they need to make sure that they have paid that prior to the visa interview, because they need to bring proof of that payment to the interview itself. Now, what happens at the interview? Students need to be in the U.S. Embassy about 15 minutes prior to their scheduled appointment. Sometimes we're told that students like to go an hour or 2 hours early. It's really unnecessary. Students can be there pretty much just a little bit before the time that they are scheduled to be there. Of course, don't be late, but just before is fine. And most importantly, they're definitely going to need their I-20 and their SEVIS receipt from the payment we just mentioned. And they can also bring their transcripts. And if they are not fluent in English, they will want to bring their TOEFL or IELTS score. And then they'll also want to bring their proof of funds for their education, so their bank statements, scholarships, letters of support from family, etc. And then finally, recent photos and passports. Students sometimes bring materials in addition to this, and that can be okay, but unfortunately, these interviews can be very quick, so sometimes students will bring those materials and they will frankly never get looked at. So do be mindful that, don't over-prepare materials because you may not really get them looked at. Instead, you're probably going to have a couple straightforward questions about your means of pay, why you want to study in the U.S., and what's your overall academic and professional goals that will take you back out of the United States. And we have done sessions on this before, so you can certainly check those other trainings that we've done if you have more questions about getting your visa. Then once you've been approved for a visa, you can arrive in the United States up to 30 days before your first day of your classes, as shown on your I-20. When you enter the U.S., make sure you bring your I-20 with you, along with your passport and all of the application materials that you use to apply to the college. And then the other important thing to start doing once you've been admitted to the college is start to engage the college through your student resources. So students who go to our college homepage will see that in the far upper right-hand corner, there's a button labeled Students. So if a student clicks on that from the homepage, they'll take you to the student page, which you see a screenshot of here in the PowerPoint presentation. There are a number of key links located on the right side, including the students' Blackboard shells, which is basically where their class information will be once they start enrolling in classes. There's the my.nwtc link, which is the student portal for things like making payments, registering for classes, and other vital student information. There's the My Mail, which is the means by which the college will communicate with you as a student, so your student email, and then some additional information as well. We definitely encourage that students go right away and log into particularly their student email account so they can start getting those critical emails from the college right away. If you were to click on the My Mail link, you would be taken to a student login page. The first time students go to this page, they will need to have their user ID, which is going to be available to them on their welcome letter, on their acceptance letter. You'll notice it in a box on the upper right-hand corner. So students can enter in their student ID number, but to do the password, they're actually going to have to do the password reset. So you can see inside the red box on the PowerPoint, it shows you that password reset link. And when you go in there, it's basically going to ask you for that user ID number again. And then it's going to ask generally for information like date of birth, last name, that sort of thing. If a student goes in and asks for a social security number, obviously international students do not have those numbers, so they can contact our office and we can help them get a code that they can use to work around that particular issue. But if a student is able to go in and successfully change the password, they can go into their student email account. And they can also then have the ability to go into their online international student orientation. And this can be very, very helpful for international students because it provides a lot of the basic information that they're going to need as international students. And this includes things like knowing more about the F1 rules and regulations. So, they'll have questions about, do I have the ability to work while I'm a student? Or what if I want to travel home while I'm an international student? And a lot of these questions are contained in the F1 rules and regulations review. Students then can also take a quiz to kind of test their knowledge and to demonstrate to us that they have reviewed that. And then there's a lot of health care information to help students find out more about the healthcare system in the U.S. and how they can go about obtaining insurance, with health insurance being a very important resource that is required by our college. We do not have a healthcare program that we require students to purchase, but we do certainly have links to a number of companies that will offer students the opportunity to buy insurance through them, and then students can submit proof that they've taken that online in the International Student Orientation. The other piece is that students can, of course, obtain important forms. So if they need a housing form or an emergency contact form, there's a link, of course, in there as well to help them with that. And then a number of training videos that we've done in years past have been made available to our students through the online orientation. So you can see here is that kind of list of things that I mentioned. Again, things about course minimums, health insurance, travel documents, emergency contact information, and other student support forms. The other thing that we encourage students to think about before they come to the United States is what they plan to do for their arrival, and then also their housing arrangements. One of the nice things that we have on our campus now is we're building a brand new dormitory, and it will be ready for the fall semester here in 2016. It is the L Orchard on-campus dorms, and you can see a link here at www.lorchard.com, and then that link will allow students to sign up for the student housing. And then we are going to, as of April 1st, be sending out contracts for those students who have signed up on the wait list so that they can, kind of get in under the priority deadline. With the students who come after, we'll definitely do our best to place students in housing as available, but it becomes a little more difficult. The occupancy rates are going to be $500 per student per month if they are in a shared room, and $630 per month if they are in a single room. The apartments are suite style, so actually each suite, which includes living room, 2 bathrooms, and a kitchen area, will have about 5 students sharing that space. For those students looking at off-campus options, NWTC's international programs may be able to support those who aren't able to meet the L Orchard deadlines by placing them in nearby apartments, but those tuition rates are, those rent rates are going to be about $500 per month. For students who are looking for off-campus housing on their own, they may find that they have a little bit better options in terms of prices. So the low end can certainly be $250 per month, and then the high end can, of course, go to $750 a month or more. But students are also able to share housing, obviously, in those situations, so they can really push those monthly costs down quite a bit. One thing we do recommend is that if you are thinking about renting off campus with apartments, make sure that you contact the apartment management companies to make sure that you as an international student will be eligible. Sometimes they're going to require rental history or social security numbers, neither of which international students have when coming to the U.S. So in some companies that may limit your ability to get into those apartment complexes, but not all. The nice thing about Green Bay is its neighborhoods are safe, so there's not really a bad part of the city to live in. Of course, some of the more affordable ones can have some higher rates of property crime, so things like theft. So, if students have bikes, they're definitely going to want to keep the bikes locked up and stuff like that. But, we don't have a violent crime issue in the city of Green Bay. And then also, off-campus apartments are generally not furnished, so students will want to make a plan to how they want to budget buying furniture, and that can be very simple furnishings, or it can be a little bit nicer. Students can rent furnishings from certain companies, or they can buy them outright from local retailers as well. And then we always recommend that students look for housing that is on the metro bus routes. So there are a number of apartment complexes that meet that requirement, so there are a number of good options for students who are interested. The other big piece is arriving on campus. So students who are looking to come to NWTC, they usually fly into either Chicago's O'Hare Airport or Green Bay's Austin Straubel Airport. For those who fly into O'Hare Airport, students will have to take the long-distance bus system, which is the Greyhound system here in the United States. It's a private company. It'll drop off students in downtown Green Bay, and from downtown Green Bay, students can either take a bus or a taxi out to the NWTC campus. We always recommend that students plan to arrive on campus during our regular office hours, so that would be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Although there are some NWTC offices open after 5, from 5 to 7 p.m., for example. Generally, it's not the level of student services that students are going to need if they're arriving on campus for the first time. So we really do encourage them to make sure they arrive on campus before 5 p.m. Those who arrive, students who arrive on evenings and weekends, really need to make sure that they have hotels arranged, because it won't be possible in most instances for students to get into their student housing if they come off hours or off days. So they might need to stay 1 or 2 nights in a hotel. And this is particularly important then if students do not have their housing arranged and are hoping to arrange housing once they get to the city of Green Bay. You're probably going to want to plan to be in an apartment, or in a hotel for up to a week. So that's very important to consider when budgeting, because students may be spending $60 to $110 per night for hotels. So, a week's occupancy could easily run several $100s. And then there's also getting around when you arrive in the city of Green Bay. The metro system goes to a lot of major parts of the city, and buses usually run once every half hour, so it's not as frequent as some students expect coming from major cities. And then, so the alternative is, of course, taxis, although taxi rides in the city of Green Bay can be much more expensive than students are used to. So, for example, a student arriving at the airport who wants to come to NWTC would expect about a 10-minute taxi ride, and that taxi ride would cost about $20 US. NWTC does provide transportation sometimes for students who are arriving during set dates, and that's usually in the days in advance of our international, or our orientation week, our welcome week, which we'll talk about in a second. Students who do arrive during those times can oftentimes get a shuttle ride from the airport to our hotel. And then housing is, again, something that students will want to arrange in advance if they want support from NWTC. And then, as I mentioned, there is the Welcome Week, which is actually our orientation week for new students. So our international students have the same orientation week as domestic students. It's just generally a little bit longer, and there are a few more sessions that are geared specifically towards the interest of international students. There will be testing during that first week. Again, we do not require, for example, things like SAT exams for students applying to the college. So instead, when they arrive at the college, they're going to usually do some form of examination called the AccuPlacer, which will test their reading, sentence skills, and mathematics level. And then we use those scores to qualify students to get into the programs that they might be looking to start and the classes that they're looking at. And if a student doesn't meet those minimum requirements, there may be the need to take some supplemental courses. So they might have to take an extra algebra class if their mathematics level is low, or there might be a need to take an intensive English support class if their language proficiency is a little low. So we encourage students to be at the college by the first day of the orientation week in order to do their testing, because it won't be until after the testing is complete that students can sign up for classes. So when students arrive late, they're often frustrated that they're not able to get the class schedule that they want. and usually that has a direct result on their semester. So we really encourage them to show up for that first day of the Welcome Week session. And then, of course, the academic advisor meetings occur after testing, and that's when students can register for their courses. And then there are the campus fairs that are going on to help familiarize the students with the campus resources, as well as campus tours. And then we do our special sessions for international students alone, which includes information on banking, safety, library use, academic culture, trainings in the Blackboard course programming. And then finally, we try to do some fun social activities, and that's like taking our international students into the community. We sometimes even do some long-distance trips, for example, to the state capitol or other amusement parks or fun things that will give them a chance to socialize and get to know each other. And then always during our Welcome Week session with our domestic students as well, the American students, there's going to always be some live entertainment, including music, food, and other activities, just to give students the chance to get to know one another and to get to know the college and the resources here a little bit better. So to summarize, we oftentimes want students, again, to be thinking about all of the things that they need to take care of between the time that they apply to the college and have been admitted through that first day of classes. So again, we're going to summarize this very quickly. The first one, of course, is that we encourage students to first apply for their visa. So that's paying their $200 SEVIS fee and their $160 MRV fee. So notice that's about $360 in fees that are paid to the U.S. government. Sometimes students may forget to pay one of the two fees, and it will come back to them after they've arrived in the U.S. They'll receive a letter saying if you don't pay this fee, you're going to lose your status. So that can be very scary, so make sure you pay your fees ahead of time. And of course, you need to go to your interview, remembering the things that we kind of mentioned about bringing the materials that you need, not needing to show up too early, just making sure that you're on time. And being ready to talk about those kind of key questions. You know, do you have the means to pay for your education? Do you have a very clear academic and professional goal, you know, a reason to study at the college that you're applying to? And then also a plan that will ultimately take you back out of the United States, generally returning to your home country. Students are sometimes afraid of, you know, rejection rates for U.S. visas, but, you know, particularly in the regions that we're focusing on in Southeast Asia, the acceptance rates are pretty high, generally above 85% in most countries and even above 90%. So that's not a high rejection rate at all. So students can be successful. Generally, they just have to be able to articulate their academic and professional goals very clearly. Then, of course, once you've been awarded your visa, it's important that you let NWTC know that you're coming. And then, of course, think about how you're going to get from the airport to the college. You can certainly use the airport pickup that the college arranges on the assigned days, or you can make your own arrangements if you're going to arrive outside of those days and times. And then, of course, arranging your own housing. Whether you want on-campus housing, you can certainly arrange that through the college, or you can make your own plans to do your own off-campus housing. Finally, then you want to check your NWTC accounts, and that would be your email. You're applying for your scholarships. You're searching for your classes so that when you meet your academic advisor, you can make those, and then completing the online international orientation. And then making sure that you attend the Welcome Week sessions that are a week before the start of the semester. So now, with all of that information out of the way, we're going to transfer to our first of our three guests today. Our first guest coming to talk to us is actually one of our student support specialists here at the college, and he's also a advisor for one of our student clubs, our Asian American Student Association Club, and he's also a very well-respected community leader in the city of Green Bay. So I am going to move the camera now so you can see our guest, Mr. Yia Thao. Yeah. All right.
Are they see me?
Yes, so they should be able to see you just fine.
Okay.
So we just wanted to talk to you, Yia, a little bit about the Green Bay community and the college. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about your role at the college and also kind of about how you help students?
Sure. I'm happy to be here, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. We are a student support service. We provide a lot of a program for students in different situations, such as, for example, if a student have an emergency need, they can certainly come to our office. For example, like maybe the car broke or break on the way, or you need a gas card, or you need a food voucher. We can certainly help you on that. We also have a program that help you, such as the single parents. We also have minority mentoring program that you can come and if you are new to the college, you can certainly we will pair you with the current NWTC student to help you because you're new to the college, and we want to make sure that you feel comfortable, feel belonging, and feel that you're not lonely, you're not alone, but there are always someone there to help you. We also have, let's see here. We also have a student clubs. We have, as Beau mentioned, we have the Asian American Student Association, which is a very active club, and they have been here at the college for a very long time, but they are continue to be very active. And the club, what they're doing is they we have officers, president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, and the PR that they can certainly run the show. When I say that, I mean they own the club and they plan activities within their group. For example, if they want to go to attend a leadership conference, they can certainly do that. They do a lot of fundraiser. They get involved here at the college activities such as the Welcome Week, activities here at the college. And they recently just done one of their big events we call the Asian Culture Celebrations, which is we have a keynote key speakers coming and talk about the Asian culture and their experience here in this society. We also have a culture show. We also have a performance, which is the dance in Thai, and they also dance in Hmong, and all kind of different music. So, and then we also have let's see. The student support service here, we also have a financial coach. We have a person that can help you if you have a hard time balancing your money. We have a staff that very good of help you balance your checking account or put your money where it's supposed to be so that you can save and know how to use your money. So we are just like a go-to person. We are like a navigator, direct student to appropriate place here at the college and also out in the community. That's our role. Again, our goal is to make sure that you succeed and graduate from the school. So that's what the student support service, and that's what we, as the student support service, we do for the student here at the college.
So yeah, can you introduce a little bit more about the community of Green Bay, and particularly thinking that a lot of the students that we've met recently are from Southeast Asia. Is there a Southeast Asian community in Green Bay? What does it look like? You know, will students be able to find food that's familiar? All of those things.
Here in Green Bay, we have about like 5,000 plus Asian that live here, and then we have we call our own community. We call Hmong and Asian community here in Green Bay, and pretty much everyone in the community know each other because of the culture and because of the background that we raised, and also the society that we has been practiced for a very long time. So we we work together. We know, again, each of us pretty much know each other in the community. If you go to the community and you say, I'm looking for Yia Thao, most of the people will know you. We might have like maybe 2 or 3 Yia. All you need to do is just ask some more questions. Yia work at NWTC, or Yia work at this company, work at the school here and here. Then right away they say, oh yeah, we know him. And then everybody pretty much know each other very well, and we collaborate and we work together. As far as food, no problem. We have a lot of Asian Oriental store that bring a lot of food from other countries, especially Thailand. Fresh, canned, all kind of food from other country. And like me, I'm eating my traditional food every day, rice, and then with other stuff, sticky rice and plain rice, and then all those stuff. So no worry about that. I think food you will find pretty much everywhere in the Oriental store. Yeah.
So you've had some international students in your club, your student club, and you've met international students on campus. What are some of the things that you have heard them talk about in terms of how they are enjoying their experience?
Sure. I think that make them feel very, as I said earlier, briefly earlier, that made them feel connection and make them feel comfortable here at the college and also out in the community, because they are not just. But I think that they learn so much. I know that some of the international students are very surprised because they don't even know that there's some community like that here in Green Bay. So when they see all those stuff, they feel that, they feel belonging. They feel that, in our culture, we celebrate and we do pretty much similar to yours. So they have a lot of similarity, and they feel very comfortable to each other, talking to each other, mingle each other. I see that they learn a lot, but again, I think the number one is that they feel very comfortable talking to each other very well. Yes.
Great. Well, if a student was from Thailand, could they contact you as well?
Of course, yes, of course. And I'm very happy to meeting a lot of you. I'm pretty sure you see me. I was born in Laos and then raised in Thailand, in a refugee camp in Thailand. So I speak quite I used to speak Thai very well when I was there and when I first came here. Up here, not a lot of people speak Thai, so sometimes I have a very hard time because every day I speak English. But I still remember, I still try to remember all the Thai language. Don't worry. I consider grow up in the refugee camp in Thailand, จังหวัดน่าน ศูนย์รับผู้อพยพ บ้านน้ำยาว จังหวัดน่าน So, and then also moved to one of the refugee camp in จังหวัดเลย refugee camp บ้านไปไหน and then after that, we go to Pananikom, Chumburi. It's a special camp for other people to learn the language before they go to the third country. I speak Thai very well. Read and write, not very good, but I speak Thai very well. So Yeah, I'm happy, and I'm very I'm looking forward to meet with a lot of the Thai students or whoever speak Thai to me. I like that because I want to make sure that I don't forget the Thai language.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for coming in, Yia.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Your
thank
time.
you very much. Yeah, thank you.
I know the students will have definitely benefited from hearing a little of your perspective, and I know they'll benefit as students getting to know you as well on campus here.
Sure.
All right, so we are going to be transitioning now. We have our next guest coming in to speak. She is actually working with the International Programs Office right now as an intern. So if you have interacted with NWTC on our Facebook page or through social media, she may be the one working on the other side, responding and putting up posts for you. She is also a student of the college, so she's got firsthand experience dealing with the classes and the class schedule, and she's going to talk a little bit about her experience as a local student who then can talk about how that has affected her. So I'm going to move the camera again, and we'll bring in this Meghan Anji. Thank you.
Anji.
Sorry.
No problem.
All right. So I think we can see you.
We are on. All right. My name is Meghan, and I am a student here. I am also an intern for the international programs. What I'm doing right now is just all the social medias. I'm trying to get all the students, well, international students, to be connected to our school and to get them exposed to our campus and the life on campus. So if you have any questions or anything at all, contact me through Facebook or even Twitter. I am on there, and you will be the one talking to me. If I don't know the answer, I will get Beau or even Carrie. Our school is really fun, very relaxed environment. There's a lot to do around here. There's a lot of activities for everyone. I think for internationals who would like to come here to be exposed to the language opportunities, it is a good way to come here and learn about our culture, the campus itself. We got a lot of new technologies. We are up to date to everything, even our social medias. All right. I also would like to give you guys some tips. So making friends is like a really good thing to do around campus, especially here in Green Bay. Getting to know people with like maybe a car to get you around, show you around the places. We have a lot of farms. There's a lot of wineries also. We are big with cheese, beer, breweries, and our food is a little different than Asia or Asian food, but we do have Asian grocery stores around here, so it's really easy to get ingredients for your own liking. Is there anything else I should cover?
Yeah, so just what made you decide to come to NWTC in the first place?
Okay. I was attending a university before, and I felt that I was not sure what I would like to do with my major, and I decided to come back home and started going to school here and get a credit transfer to a university here in Green Bay. But the school is so great, like so great to me. They gave me like hand-on experience. That's what I really needed. And I just felt so comfortable here, so welcome, and I love it here. And I hope you guys get to see this and get to experience it also.
Tell me a little about your major.
My major, I am in the business management with marketing emphasis. Right now I am on my last year, and I will be transferring to Scotland Robert Gordon University. I'll be studying abroad there. I know how it is. It's going to be really hard to go there and learn a new language and learn the new cultures, and that's the fun part about it. So just get yourself out there and be comfortable, be willing to learn about other cultures, be willing to open up to other people and learn about them. You'll make really good friends. Beau and a bunch of us went to China for study abroad last May, and that was a really great experience. I love China.
Me too, definitely. So can you also tell us, so you have done kind of a marketing emphasis. You mentioned your internship with us, but what other internship and work opportunities have you used to try to build your resume so that you feel you'll be able to get a full-time job in the future?
Okay. Well, on campus, there's this work study that I'm doing also. I'm working at the marketing and recruitment office, so I get a lot of hand-on experience there. I've been getting a lot of projects that I get to work on with them, so that's why I love this school so much, is because they put you in the situation where you get to experience the real life, or the real how would I say it, like the hand-on that you would get once you leave the college, and that's why it's so great to be here. At the bigger university, you don't get that unless you really apply to a company, and most company might just put you into a mailroom. I mean, right? Like that's what I heard from all my friends, and I'm like, I'm glad I'm here and I get to learn what I have right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for coming in today, Meghan.
You're welcome.
We appreciate your time, and I know students will be interested probably to maybe ask more questions or engage you
definitely.
Through the social media. Mm-hmm. So we really do appreciate it. Okay?
All right. Thank you so much.
Yep. Okay, so we just want to finish up today by thanking those who were able to join us today to talk a little bit more about the college. Hopefully you've gotten some good information and things to reflect on in terms of the application process, and then also kind of that process of getting yourself ready before you come to the college, and thinking about all the different things that you need to do before that first day of classes even begins. We welcome you to go to the NWTC website. Of course, that's www.nwtc.edu/international. The other way, of course, you can engage us is through our Facebook page. So if you go through Facebook and search NWTC International Programs, you will find the link to our Facebook page, and you're more than welcome to join that page, interact with some of our current and former students, as well as our staff members, and myself, Meghan, who you just saw, and others. And hopefully you find that to be a very useful and rewarding outlet to get questions answered that you have, and to help you figure out your academic pathway going forward. So with that, certainly, again, contact me, Beau James, at beau.james@nwtc.edu if you have further questions, or come to the website, or engage us through the social media page. All right, thank you very much, and have a great day.